But all we're going to need to get these off is a flathead screwdriver and a wrist or two. Let's go take a look. Welcome back to the channel. Question for you guys and gals. What do you suppose when you rescue one of these old rigs? Where's one leak, oil leak that is, that you're bound to find sooner or later? Well, here it is. Virtually, almost, most of the time. Once you get her running, the old valve covers are going to start seeping. Most of these, all of these have cork gaskets, and they're rock hard and they're old. You know, 1962 was when this old International was born. So we've got a job to do. You can see we're seeping there, we're dripping a little bit there, we're starting to seep here. You always get along the bottom edge first. But these are really cool valve covers. They say International on them. And we're going to go ahead. We've got some Malay. We've got some gaskets for it, and those should be just fine. And we're going to take these valve covers off, clean up the gasket surfaces, but wait, there's more. We're going to run these through the sandblaster real lightly and then hit them with some red paint. Now it'll look a little goofy because the rest of the engine is in its natural state, but we can't help but, you know, let's see this brighten up the International. We might get super aggressive with it and even throw on some white paint on the old text there. We'll see. But let's get them off, and we'll take it one step at a time. These guys are just held on with these little slotted machine screws. And I did do the old, you know, super cheapskate thing and tried to tighten them up a little bit. And that just didn't work. But all we're going to need to get these off is a flathead screwdriver and a wrist or two. This isn't like when we did the valve cover and valve cover gasket on the old BMW, where, you know, there was, first of all, it's plastic, and two, there's all kinds of stuff in the way. Just to get it out, we had to make a tunnel. Oh, this one's tight. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not the only one that tried tightening these somewhere along the line. There we go. Woo-wee. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, always come up in here, on, especially on the high side, both sides really, and blow the crusties out with some air. You hear that kind of tinny, it's tinny, but it's also I call it a loose tinny sound. It's already wanting to let go. Now, we haven't looked inside this engine yet. So let's, this will be our first clue, at least on the oiling side, as to what we got to work with here long term. How much buildup do we have? Oh, not bad, dudes and dudettes. Look at these cool lifter arms. Straight, bent, straight, bent. Look at that. How interesting is that? Most people would say that might be a problem, but nope, that's just the way it is. Let's get in here a little closer and see what kind of sludge we got going on. Wow. I mean, we don't have anything usually down here in the little bottoms, you would see some buildup, some sludge. There's nothing. She's clean. I am digging this. Look at the little international stamp right there. How cool is that? The old rocker arms, they're just killing me. That's super cool. And kind of a Chrysler setup here where we're coming up through the stands on the end and oiling through the rocker shaft to get oil to the rockers. Very cool. Very well maintained and very clean. I'm excited. All right, we'll get the gasket scraped off of there, get that cleaned up, and we got to hammer on this valve cover so we can get some paint on it. Updates. Jalen's here. He's going to take this driver's side valve cover off, and we're not gonna show you because it's a secret, but we're gonna give him some special treatments, and I think you'll like it. This one's off and can't go back on right now because of the treatments. Then we're gonna get this one off and get it started, treated, and whatever you want to say. In the meantime, we found at the Napa Valley the correct brake hose to replace the old nasty one for our clutch master and slave cylinder. So we put a new hose on there. We bled that system out. So really, in the hydraulics, arena, that was the only hose that we hadn't replaced on this rig. So it's pretty well good to go now. But we're gonna get this other valve cover off, and I'm sure it's gonna be just as clean as the previous one was. That's crazy. A little bit of surface rust, that's just moisture that builds up in the crankcase in the hot and cold cycle, but otherwise spotless, you guys. Same thing with the internals underneath the valve cover, just really clean. I mean, it's not spectacularly clean. This thing wasn't built yesterday though. It's 1962 here, and it's looking wonderful. It got stormy, y'all, and so we threw valve cover back on the binder pickup, pushed it out. This is yesterday. Pulled my good truck in, slammed everything else up against the building in case we got some wind and some hails. And we did get some wind. We didn't get any hails. Got a good bit of rain. And then once things settled down, Jalen and I stayed out here and just went back to work. And yeah, I didn't take any video, but it's valve cover gaskets. But like I said, there's a little bit of a surprise. We've got her back together. It's the next day. The road has dried out, and look at this, y'all. This is Jalen's idea. I was just gonna paint them red, and he said, but wait, there's more. There's this raised stamped lettering in these pristine international valve covers, and maybe we should do that in white. Well, we didn't have any white engine paint And I don't know if they make it in white. They probably do, but we did have the silvers. And so we did it in silver. We painted the silver, masked this center section here, and then he, with an X-Acto, X-Acto'd all that out. And then we came across with the red. And boy howdy, I'm telling you what. I mean, it's just the valve covers. The rest of the engine's in its natural state, but it looks really nice. And then while we were at it, we took some liberties with the suspension, and we gave it a little attitude by lowering the altitude, so to speak. 2 leaves out of the front, 2 leaves out of the back. And not just any old leaves. One of these days we'll show you how to do that on a leaf sprung truck, so that you don't, you know, create a hazard. But it rides nice. We've been down the road at 50 plus miles an hour, and everything's happy. It looks good. The stance is really nice. I'm going to put a picture insert right about here, and yeah, it's looking really good. So we've got a car show in our small town in a couple days. We're going to put some shine juice on this, and yeah, the good old-fashioned flammable kind. But for right now, this is in a good place, y'all. New valve cover gaskets, fancy painted valve covers. We got her lowered down a good bit. I think about 1.5 inches in the front and probably 2 inches in the rear almost. We're gonna have to put some floors in here, and then probably, you know, see if anybody else wants to tinker with it or play with it or own it. So thanks for watching this one. Kind of plain Jane valve cover job, but also, like I said, with a twist. So appreciate every single one of you for watching along. We will see you on the next video.